Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Rome Total War Remastered here today on the channel. We're back with episode 2 of my Scipii Roman Let's Play. I'm excited here today because I can release some more episodes for you guys. So we're going to be continuing exactly where we left off. Now, I'm going to be able to upload episode 2, 3, 4, and 5, 4 more hour-long videos over the next 3 to 4 days at 3 PM London time. So stay tuned for more Rome Remastered episodes on the channel. So we're going to be able to get a lot done and continue this campaign. So to start things off, we want to break down the temple of Baal Hamon with Cornelius Scipio occupying the city of Carthage, and we're going to build a shrine in place of it. So here today we're going to be continuing our war against the Carthaginians, consolidating our holdings in Sicily, making it my major base of operations. And we do have the Greek city of Thermon, so we might be able to use that as a launching pad, a bit of a springboard into southern Greece, so we can take their wealthy territory. We want to go down to the Imperial Palace in Capua so we can get the Marian reforms as quickly as possible. They used to be able to put a general in Capua and sort of rush Marian reforms, sending all the population to that. So they've gotten rid of that cheese in the Rome Remaster. You can't funnel all the population to one settlement. You have to equally distribute it throughout your empire. So this campaign will be slightly difficult because you can't rush Marian reforms. Quintus Scipio is currently Quaestor, and this is our current position with the Senate and the people of Rome. We have Vibius Brutus there pushing up to Edel, but the SPQ hold most of the Senate positions. An interesting fact about the office of Pontiff Maximus, sort of the head of the religious rites in Rome, the office to this day is still, well, not held by a Roman, but the Pope in the Vatican. So it's interesting that the Catholics stole the name of that. Before we sink our teeth too far into this campaign, I want to address some of the comments that were left in the last video that rose to the top. So, we've got a comment here by Mr. Bobsy. The director's cut of The Kingdom of Heaven is the only way to watch the movie. They chopped like 90 minutes of character building for the standard version. Criminal, in my opinion. I agree. It's one of the more enjoyable history movies, and there's not too many movies based around the Crusades, which is just such a fascinating time period. I really like the movie a lot. Maybe that's one to watch if you haven't already. The Kingdom of Heaven extended edition for your Easter weekend. Got another comment here by Scipios. I'm very happy to know that more people are getting to know the history of Scipio Africanus. Bring some culture and knowledge to these dark times. I will talk a little bit about Roman history throughout these campaigns, and I might talk a little bit more about Scipio Africanus and sort of his legacy with Aemilianus and whatnot. And finally, a question from Ozari. Spring 21, Rome Remaster. Summer 21, Medieval 2 Remaster. That would be a great surprise. Amazing video, and I like the details for sure. Yeah, I hope. There are no current plans to remaster any of their old games, that's what they've said, but I wouldn't be surprised if this Rome Remaster does really well. If there's a landslide in sales, I'm sure they'll probably commission Feral to do a Medieval 2. We can only hope and cross our fingers for now. Righto, so what we want to do now is mobilize the Roman war machine. We want to continue our Punic war with Carthage and take the city of Thapsus, which is just south of Carthage, and we'll look to see if we can gain any opportunities to take some settlements in Greece, whether that be from rebels, Greek military forces, or Macedonian. Now I'm going to be recording for an hour here today, so we can actually talk about some history and sort of take our time. In the last episode I did have to condense things down and edit things a lot more to about half an hour. So yeah, we can take it easy this time. So this gives me the opportunity to introduce myself to you guys. So my name is Tom. I go by Simpzy here on YouTube. I'm a 25-year-old Australian. I do have a history degree. I have a major in history and a minor in ancient civilizations. I mostly specialized in 18th century history and more or less World War II. So I'm supposedly somewhat qualified to talk about history a little bit as a bit of a amateur historian. In saying that, you don't at all need a history university degree or college degree to be interested to even talk about history. I certainly didn't need it. I was 21 when I started my degree, 24 when I finished, and I went back because I just really wanted to achieve higher education, have that as a goal. And it's a lot to thank with you guys, because I was doing YouTube a couple of years prior to that, and you basically allowed me to pay myself to go through university. So I do really thank you guys for that. And if I had one piece of advice, I would say follow your passions and your dreams. Damn the consequences, because you only got one shot in this life. Do what you want when you want. I'm turning into a rapper towards the end of this. So let's talk about some history. Let's talk about the Punic War. So, why do we call it the Punic War? Rome had many wars with the Macedonians, various Greeks. Why is it called the Punic War, not the Carthage War? Well, Punic is Latin for Carthaginians. It's derived from the Phoenician word because the Carthaginians originated originally from Asia Minor. So Carthage, before we took it in this campaign, was a maritime kingdom. They were all about the trade business before the Romans came a-knocking. A really good comparison, and what I've heard compared between Rome and Carthage, is very similar to Sparta and Athens. Rome and Sparta, with its military manpower and might on the field of battle, while Carthage is sort of more to the Athenians and their navy. So the first Punic War with the Romans, if anything, was really quite sloppy and a little bit lackluster. The second Punic War is where all these famed epic generals come from, like Scipio Africanus. Now I want to bring up now Gannicus Cornelius Scipio Asena and how he got the nickname the Arse, because not all of the early Scipii were legendary commanders that Africanus was. So to surmise, this Cornelius Scipio with Rome's brand new navy was sailing about and then got trapped in a harbour by the Carthaginians. And without any naval experience, all the crews panicked and left to land, and the fleet was surrounded by the Carthaginians, and he ended up literally getting the cognoma ass, the female donkey. So not all of them got really epic names like Africanus. So one of the major turning points in the war against the Romans and Carthaginians was the ability for the Romans to adapt so quickly and adopt other enemy military tactics. Now, fortunately for them and equipment, a Carthaginian ship shipwrecked on Italy, and they basically stole the plans of the ship and further used it as a blueprint of their own navy. I will talk further about Hannibal Barca and Scipio Africanus a little bit later, but for the Roman psyche, Hannibal essentially is the Baba Yaga in sort of the John Wick universe for the Romans. Okay, it's time to mobilize the Carthaginian garrison. So we've got Cornelius Scipio here. We just want to make sure that we don't have a huge rebellion in Carthage. So Cornelius can head down here with some family members. We'll try and build watchtowers as well. I love just littering the campaign map with watchtowers. We might even make like one poor general do it as his duty. Also guys, there was a comment in the last video about the cursor. Now, this has been addressed. that cursor is not a Rome Remaster issue. It's actually GeForce and OBS. For some reason, like, my cursor looks fine on my screen. There's no, like, sort of like black crisscross in front of it. But it will sort of permeate recording. So it's not a Rome Remaster issue. That is an OBS issue. Which hopefully will go away once OBS and GeForce decide to update. So, Boris here is in Thapsus as we push into enemy territory. So we just need to slowly but surely sail and ferry over military forces from Sicily. I wanted Sicily to be my major recruitment hub in the future. We'll bring over some spies and diplomats as well. But we've managed to get the Greek city of Thermon with a really nice piece of shrewd diplomacy, which I like, because you always want to sort of head east where you can. I've got that diplomat heading westward because we want to get a trade agreement with the Numidians, which were famously an ally of the Romans and never conquered that area for quite some time. I can't remember the name of the Numidian king that they really sort of sucked up to, but yeah. In later wars, a lot of the Roman cavalry was Numidian. So we've got Quintus Scipio here, our heir, just pushing to the border to see if we can see an opportunity to maybe strike against the Macedonians or the Greeks, because the amount of famed wars Rome had against Macedonians, it's only a matter of time. Okay, so we're still one turn away from Thapsus here, and Athens is currently held by the Macedonians, which is interesting because it was formerly rebel territory. Okay, welcome to the top of the turn. Popularity gained with the masses, and we need to negotiate with the Numidians. Okay, so the Greeks do have a lot of units down there. They might look to retake Thermon, but we'll just have to say we are building, rather recruiting peasants where we can, just to garrison our forces. I think Capo is safe. I don't fear an invasion over there, so we can use the peasants to make it slightly cheaper. I am using a realistic recolor of the Rome Remaster for my units. I've been using that the entire time, just as a bit of a disclaimer. I think some other YouTubers didn't. They just used the normal color, but looking and going through the units that I saw, I personally preferred the realistic recolor than the vanilla set. So I have customized my campaign in the settings. Typical. Already trying to mod the game as much as I can because all my campaigns are like so heavily modded. I love mods, what can I say? So we've got some skirmishers in here, some Iberian infantry as well, because most of Carthage's army was made up of mercenaries throughout North Africa and Spain. Okay, so we'll wait for that siege equipment to be built. It's a shame that the Julii Romans took Corellas, because they would have liked it. Okay, so the Bruti I've pushed up to Salonia. Okay, so hopefully they don't push too far west. Oh my god, what's happening north? Barbarians are at the gates. Man, if they take Arretium, I want to try and snipe that. Bro, that would be awesome if we could get that. So there's a lot of goals there. I wonder if the Julii are going to get knocked out. That'd be insane. I am playing on very hard, very hard. And if there are any slight hiccups, it's been a while since I've played Rome Total War. Vanilla has been probably 7 months, but I am playing on the remastered version, so a lot of the units are balanced, and there are stuff that has been changed. Okay, so I don't think we can probably take Corinth and burn it down like the Romans did. That was always a really good threat. against anyone. Well, we salted the fields of Carthage and we burnt down Corinth. What do you think is going to happen to do if you mess with us? Right, alliance announced between Thrace and Macedon. That's not good because they're securing their northern border. And yeah, we've still got to deal with that trade agreement with the Numidians, which we're heading over to go to. Alright, trade rights. Good to start things off. Map for map. They are trading with Carthage and Egypt. We've accepted. How about an alliance? Cyprus. I can't remember if... I don't think that's the famed Numidian king. Obviously, this is not a 100% accurate retelling of this time period, but I do like the arcadey nature. So I can kind of see what the Numidians have. They have most of North Africa. They've actually pushed into sort of Egypt, which is interesting there. Okay, so it looks like an alliance with the Numidians is probably all that we are going to get. Because we're not going to be able to get any territory. Would they attack Carthage, maybe? Because they're not at war with them. Because then the Numidians could pressurize the Carthaginian territory in Spain. They actually are interested. No. So they refused. We'll just get the alliance then. Alright, cool. The Numidians and the Scipii Romans have made an alliance. Good, we're going historical. I like it a lot. And we gain that trade agreement as well. I'm going to try and do as many Senate missions as I can, because I kind of like to roleplay. And get as many officers as well, because it's always worth going for. But if they go too far out of the way, or they make me attack someone I really don't want. And I also hate conquering, like, the deserts of North Africa. This sort of coastal peripheral territory is nice. Carthage, is it whatever the Lepidus territory, Thapsus, like, that's all sweet. Cyrenaica, really pushing super far deep. Like, getting to Tingis is an absolute nightmare. So Flavius Scipio is currently the governor in Carthage for now. And we'll try and move some of this town watch out. On my border territories, I like to keep town watch because they can survive a little bit longer. So frontier territories, they can be garrisoned with town watch, while the more secure and safer territory further back in our homeland can be garrisoned by peasants. We all need to keep a decent navy, because the AI tends to always spam it out. Oh, but the Romans have been victorious. Quintus Julius and Lucius Julius have prevailed. Okay, it's time for some construction in Capua. We can get a stone wall here. So as you can see, our population's only 10,000. Normally, when you take a fair few pieces of territory, you can sort of get Marian reforms and spam them out so much earlier. But because they've changed the population system slightly, we won't be able to rush Marian reforms for quite some time. So it's going to make our wars with the Greeks and any hoplite faction much harder. So Macedon are allies with the Brutii, yes. So the Greeks and Macedonians are fighting. I could go and liberate them. The thing is, like, historically the Romans were more allied to the Greeks than the Macedonians. But the Brutii have gone and changed things around there. They were sort of seen as the liberators of Greece, then occupiers. I could let them battle it out. I could let that Greek force get really weak, and then we can maybe snipe in and take Athens. Like, southern Greece is what we want. Larissa and Thessalonica are good territories, but they don't hold wonders. The statue of Zeus is very good. Okay, anyway, we should go down and finish off the Carthaginians here in Thapsus. So 3 battering rams should be enough. And he's the faction leader now, Burrus, so it will make things a little bit harder. But anyway, most of our army builds are made up of Triarii. We've got some archers there, one unit of Vilites, and some town watch. So, without further ado, let's have the first battle of today's video, the Siege of Thapsus.
Today we face the mighty Carthaginians, brave men and worthy foes. They stand alone. No friend has come to this place to die for them. Does this not say something about their honor? They're standing among nations. They cower behind their walls and pray for help. We outnumber them by a large margin, but this may drive them to foolhardy defiance. Be careful. These people have yet to taste victory at my expense. Today will be no different, so lay into them with a will. They will try to keep us at bay and take the coward's way of bombarding us with missiles. We must grasp them by the sword belt in this battle. And before we start, just remember, they are more scared of us, true Romans to a man, than we are of them.
Okay, so luckily for this Siege of Thapsus, my spy has managed to open the gates. So we won't need our siege equipment. You can open up some more entrances, but it would be a bit fruitless because then you have to repair the city. Now thankfully the wall here is very short, so we're going to be able to allow our Hastati to throw their peeler up and over the wall. From what I can remember, the Hastati was usually equipped with 2 to 3 peeler in the late period. We've also got our archers here as well and some vilites. So what we want to do, we want to try and skirmish the Carthaginians inside as much as we can. Because, 45 minutes is plenty of time to take this small city and get rid of the faction leader for Carthage. But he is inside, so his general bodyguard is usually really, really tough, regardless of the faction. Alright, so the Carthaginian army was mostly made up of mercenaries. As you can see, we've got some Spanish ethnic Iberian swordsmen. They did have a lot of Numidian cavalry before they went to the Roman side, and various African units as well. So basically, after the Battle of Cannae, where Hannibal decimated a lot of Romans, it left a lot of nobles dead, and a power vacuum was ready to open up, and this is where sort of Scipio Africanus was born. So once he got his command, he took Carthaginian-owned Spain, so he essentially could take North Africa. So the Romans, like for the Second Punic War, they actually started their war with Carthage sort of in Spain. You can't get. I kind of wish you could get to Spain a little bit quicker in Rome Total War, because you sort of want to be that way, because they fight a lot of Gauls early on the Julii. It takes a while for them to actually get to Spain. Maybe once we take Carthaginian territory in North Africa, we could maybe sail on over to, what is it called? Nova Carthage. I think that's it on the coast. Nova Carthage, meaning New Carthage, was the largest and most well-fortified Carthaginian holding in Iberia. For all intents and purposes at this time period, the Carthaginians basically ruled over Iberia, and Nova Carthage was Scipio Africanus' first real challenge, and he actually got in a really ingenious way. He managed to talk to some of the locals that apparently there was like a lagoon or just like a low tide that used to go in and out from the city. So basically at the low tide it was walkable, so he managed to sneak his way in and take the city. As well, the Romans managed to beat back a lot of Hannibal Barca's brothers and actually killed Hamilcar. So when the Romans finally decided to invade Carthage in North Africa, they landed with like 70,000 troops, from what I can remember roughly. We landed and took Carthage with a lot less, but Hannibal left his wars and battles in Italy after the death of his brothers. The Battle of Zama was the penultimate and sort of ending moment of the Punic War. Scipio Africanus in that was actually easily able to deal with Carthage and Hannibal's major threat, the elephants, opening up lanes and allowing them to pass through. The Numidian allied Roman cavalry smashed the Carthaginian after they changed their sides, and of course the Roman veterans smashed the Carthaginian. So, although they won the Punic War, the Second Punic War, the Romans, it was incredibly costly. I think it was like 20% of the population of Rome was killed, and the treasury was absolutely ransacked. Some people claim that the Roman Empire was actually born on that day at Zama, but there's other points you could probably pick to and argue, arguably if you wanted to. But the main thing is it gave rise to famed and renowned generals, and a lot followed Africanus, like the Gracchi brothers, Marius, Julius Caesar, Sulla, Pompey, Crassus, and Mark Antony. We're shredding these Carthaginians though now. Fast forwarding a bit now, I want to talk about this story. This is a fair few years down the line now, sort of near towards the Syrian War. But so after the Roman victory over the Carthaginians, Hannibal Barca found himself in exile in the court of Antiochus the Great of the Seleucid Empire, and Scipio was there meeting other delegates and stuff, and they actually managed to have a conversation under the house of Seleucus, and they famously argued who were the best and top 3 greatest generals of history. Hannibal said Alexander, Scipio accepted and agreed. Hannibal put Epirus second, which is funny because Epirus obviously had the Pyrrhic victory over the Romans and smashed them quite a bit. And third, he put himself, Hannibal Barca. I'm assuming Scipio thought he was going to be third himself, but he famously said, well, where would you have been if you had beaten me? And then he said, I'd be the greatest general of all time. But at the end of the day, Scipio there was there at the head of a Roman Empire, rapidly growing and on the move, while Hannibal Barca was essentially a beggar king, like Viserys Targaryen. The major controversy towards the end of Scipio Africanus's life was the accusations by Cato of missing and the disappearance of some military war funds and funds when he was out on campaign. He never denied the accusations, but it was more or less, come on, have you seen what I've done for you all these years? Allow me to take a little bit of cream off the top, as it were. But yeah, he later died in Campania, in a small little village in Italy. And this probably leads on well to his descendants, which I think I might leave for the next episode. We can talk about his children. So his daughter Cornelia Scipio, who took the name Cornelia Africana, married Tiberius Gracchus Senior, and of course gave birth to Tiberius and Gaius, the famed Gracchi brothers. And his grandson, Aemilianus Scipio, ties well in with them, because Aemilianus married Sempronia, who was Tiberius's and Gaius's sister. And we can go on all about the bloody land reforms. Like, I don't mind the Gracchi brothers, but my god, the specifics and some of their agrarian reforms used to be such a chore and a bit of a bore to study. But it's such an important period because it like leads on and follows, and the consequences of it, like, you need to know. But far out, man. Anyway, continuing on with this siege of Thapsus, we haven't engaged the cavalry. We're trying to surround as best we can. Fighting in the narrow streets, especially with Astarte, isn't the best. Now, there's a couple of ways you can play this early Roman campaign. I might actually do a guide in the future once the game comes out for each faction, sort of just give you my tips and tricks and opinion. So we are probably better off getting cavalry in our army builds, a lot more of them, but it does cost a bit, and then that means we can't really auto-resolve too much. So Astarte aren't the best especially on very hard. Earlier on, if you're playing on easy and normal, you should be able to get away with it. But like, this is a great example of Astarte not performing well and sort of compounding the fact of pushing narrow corridors in sieges. They just get absolutely smashed and held. So, look, if you're playing on normal, easy, you should be able just to slam and charge and push right through it. But we are going to use Astarte for a lot of this series early on, I plan, because we can auto-resolve as well. Look at this, man. Those cavalry are really starting to charge against us. We did quite well trying to skirmish as many of them as we can. But the campaign dynamic changes slightly now because we can't rush Marian reforms. I believe if you switch it back to Classic, like everything to Classic Rome Total War instead of the remaster, surely it's easier to get Marian reforms. I don't know, but I'm playing on the full remastered version. So we're going to try and cycle charge with my cav here because my Astarte are struggling to fight through the narrow corridors. But we will be using Astarte in my army build because I tend to auto-resolve a little bit more than often because, look, I like to play the importance, the notable. Battles that have a significant importance. If they're a clear-cut auto-resolve or it's a battle that I'm not interested in. If we fight like the exact same army like 3 times in a row, I'm definitely going to auto-resolve it on the 4th. Oh! And we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. The enemy king is dead. We've managed to get rid of the Carthaginian faction leader. Although technically not a king. I guess he could have sworn himself in this faction leader, but Carthage was ruled at this time by a senate. So, there mustn't be too many more Carthaginian settlements within North Africa. There must be sort of potentially back in Iberia, but the Astarte are charging in here now. To deal with the Iberians, which I'm sure probably want to go home. They don't want to be defending North Africa here. There was that time when the Carthaginians hired a bunch of mercenaries to fight their wars. They're always famed and good at making money, but military not so much. They're good commanders, but the actual core of the army wasn't a united force. But yeah, there was that time where the Carthaginians hired an army of mercenaries to fight their wars, then refused to pay them, and because they cost too much, so they hired more mercenaries to deal with the mercenary rebellion, and then it ended up costing more money at the end of the day anyway. So that was always a funny story about the Carthaginians from what I can remember. And it really just highlighted how sort of disorganized the Carthaginian army could be sometimes. But anyway, we'll end that battle there. We did lose a sizable chunk towards the end there, but hopefully we can clean up those results a bit better. Alright, let's end that one there. So we've taken Thapsus. We'll be able to replenish and repair where we can. What coast knows not our blood? Horatius, okay. Thapsus is now under Roman occupation, and we will enslave the 3,000 captives there. Alrighty. Let's retrain, because we do not have automatic replenishment in these older Total Wars. So you have to stay in a city a little bit longer than normal. Oh, so they do have an army down here. Okay. Right, so Thapsus is quite alright for now. Construction-wise, I think we're good. Right, we can probably look over here now. Is it still going on? Yep, the siege is still there. I think I might actually... Yeah, we can't get any Well, we can get some peltasts. That can be alright. Mercenary hoplites. We might look to get them. I always find that the voice actor that does the Roman and Greek voices, it sounds like Sacha Baron Cohen doing a character. Mercenary hoplites! Okay, right. We could probably get an alliance with the Macedonians. I was just curious to see, because we could potentially go in and help them out and draw out the garrison, but I don't know. We'll just let the Greeks, because if the Brutii have an alliance with the Macedonians, I don't particularly want to be going to war with the Macedonians. Oh no! The gods have seen fit to send this man to the afterlife, his household, and even his slaves. Oh, rest in peace, Cornelius Scipio. Put an F, put a rip in the chat. Cornelius Scipio. Oh, that's such a shame. And Quintus Scipio has arisen to the head of the Scipio house. They want me to block the port of Sparta. So how does this change things now? So he's now 42. Let's have a little bit of a look at the family tree. So yeah, because we killed off Julianus, didn't we? He died. Yeah. So now it's given Gaius Scipio, the factionaire, while Quintus is the faction leader. Yeah, because we kind of stuffed up because we killed Julianus pretty early on. I will get back to my Macedonian campaign as well, but I've only got 4 videos and 4 hours to make content, so I want to dedicate it all to one campaign, but I will go back to the Macedon campaign at some point. Alright, let's block this port of Sparta. Okay. Yeah, they're still sieging it out. I was just trying to see if there's any more mercenaries we could get. So Antigonus is actually trying to take it. Corinth and Sparta are firmly under Greek control. We'll give them 371 denarii. No, thank you. I do not want to give money to the Gauls. They probably desperately need it because they're fighting with the Julii quite quick. Armenia and Pontus have made an alliance. We do have some Principes now recruited in the city of Carthage. We're going to be able to phase out Hastati and then bring in some Principes soon. Then hopefully some Triarii. Let's move you here. We've got some reinforcements with Flavius Scipio heading to Thapsus. Still heading towards that mission to block the port of Sparta. And we'll bring some more reinforcements. And Athens has fallen to the Greeks. Well, now that it's been recently taken, I think we should probably try and take it. So we'll get some mercenaries here with Quintus Scipio. But this is going to be a tough one because we haven't got a crazy amount of Hastati nor spearmen. We will need reinforcements potentially. But we've got a temple building in Carthage, a port in Thapsus. We can probably stop that farm there just so we can get those pikes in. No, those last 2 peltasts. Okay, I think it's time to redeclare war upon the Greeks. We're actually not at war with them, which is surprising. So in this alternative timeline, the Romans are focusing on the Greeks and are not the liberators. We're focusing on the Greeks rather than the Macedonians. Okay, so could I somehow bait the army out? Because trying to fight this in an actual siege is going to be quite difficult. Although there does seem to be some reinforcements there. They should be a little bit under the kibosh, in the sense that they might be a little bit whittled down and the settlement might have some holes in it. But hopefully, if we can bait them out like that, it should work. Alright, let's end the turn and continue. Oh, there's no land crossing there. I was wondering if I could just send my diplomat to actually talk to the Spanish. Okay, so it doesn't look like they attacked us, but they did move an army out, so we can work that. We've got some officers assigned as well. And Lucius Scipio has come of age. Crikey. You're 16? You're bald. Alright. Fair enough. So Quintus Scipio is now Aedile, while Flavius Julius is now Quaestor. As long as we have more officers than the other families, I'm happy. But the Senate does like me the most, which is good. Okay, those walls have been built in Capua, so that should help. Yeah, so they've sent out an army. Well, we'll fight this one on the open field if we have to. I am tempted to move this unit up just so that the garrison doesn't get drawn out, and it won't, so we can fight half there. I'm really surprised. Maybe they couldn't see us. I'm not entirely sure. But Quintus Scipio is going to have his first command at the head of the Scipio faction. Let's go, and we'll hear what he has to say.
A battle's never an easy thing to face, especially before breakfast. But think on this. They feel at least as bad, and don't have me to give them victory. Today we face those masters of lies, falsehood, and perversity, the Greeks. Beware of victorious Greeks, for they show little mercy. And draw strength from this fact. The enemy are so loathed that no ally can be found to support them. They have been whipped to the battlefield like cattle for slaughter. We have a slight advantage in numbers, but no lives can be thrown away today. We cannot afford such profligacy. I have never lost a battle against these people. Why should I start losing now, with men such as you at my command? Another victory is at hand. Omens are for the weak and silly. We are neither, and so look to our own strength to preserve us. Onwards! So let your battle cry put fear into the enemy's guts. Call out to them and be brave. Call to the heavens and let strength and honor be your watchwords today.
Let's fight some Greeks and have the first major battle under the new reign of Quintus Scipio. So Quintus is the second-born son of Cornelius Scipio in our series. Cornelius, of course, famed for the siege and taking of Carthage. Cornelius Scipio Africanus, you could say. And obviously Syracuse. And Quintus is going to start his reign in Greece. Was present in the conquest of Syracuse and Sicily at the start of the series, but was tasked to garrison Thermon and now has to deal with the Greeks here. So we'll put our Vilites in the third line, our Astarte in the second, cavalry on the flanks, and we'll use the mercenary hoplites that we've got now. Once we get a bit bigger of an army and we fight more land battles, why not? I think what I'll do is I'll try and roleplay using the Manipole and triple axis formation against the sort of AI. See how it goes. The best example of the Manipole system and the triple axis formation working well is in DEI, Divide et Impera for Rome 2. So I do recommend going and checking out that campaign when there's going to be a little bit of break of Scipio uploads, because I've got today, tomorrow, so after today there's going to be 3 more videos into episode 5, and then I have to take another break before I can upload more. I know, I want to be able to smash out this campaign. That's why I'm making hour-long videos for you guys, so you guys can get a bit of a real feel of the Rome remaster. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this campaign ends up. We're plunging into southern Greece now. And I can't wait to see how much of a man Quintus turns out to be. Because the thing is, right, if you play your own Scipii Roman campaign, you can have completely different generals to me. And that's why I just love the sandbox strategy nature of Total War. Like, for example, we lost Julianus. Like, Julianus in your campaign could be this famed cavalry commander and conqueror of, I don't know, Egypt, of Gaul or something. Well, mine died, and now it's going to be Quintus and his descendants. Hopefully can be the renowned generals. So, speaking of faction leaders and heirs and stuff, because I've got to decide how I do that while we try and hit these skirmishes in the flank. As long as they don't get off a good volley, we should be able to charge here comfortably with Quintus. Yes, so, obviously, it's just happened to go down, what is it? Sort of male preference primogenitor, I think that's what it's technically called. So obviously Cornelius Scipio had 4 sons. Julianus, who was the heir, who died, and then it fell to the second-born son, Quintus. But should it go to Quintus's son? I don't know if we should do that. I think we should go down the Roman way. So there's a fair few ways that you can sort out your commanders. I personally sort by command. So you never know. One of Quintus's sons might have decent command, so I think we'll sort by command. But if there's like a really like fantastic general that's not a part of the Scipio dynasty that's maybe adopted or marrying in, we could. I am tempted to maybe do that. Management and influence. The thing is, right, I like to conquer and take as much territory as you can. Like, management obviously comes when you sit in a settlement, but influence can come when you start commanding and gaining followers and gaining a lot of victories. So we probably should sort by command. Like, who should lead the Scipio house? Probably the famous commander, the better quality commander. Now, they don't actually have a general in this fight. They've just got a randomly generated captain. So he's actually retreating now. My cavalry with Quintus is absolutely tearing them up. The Greeks are forming up their hoplites. It's crazy to see the phalanx and hoplites, which dominated the ancient world for hundreds of years. For, like, all the way back time to Alexander, the Spartans, the Macedonians. But they were outdone and smashed by the Roman manipole system. It's just so versatile and effective, those Astarte. Yes. There's only a very few situations where pikes can be incredibly effective. Flat, stable terrain, and being secure from behind and the sides, which we are going to be able to flank a bit. Our mercenary hoplites are doing quite well though, while the Astarte and our skirmishers throw Peeler at them. I'm happy we fought them on the field, because trying to siege with this army in Athens, crikey, wouldn't end too well. You're always better off playing field battles in Rome, Total War where you can. I personally enjoy field battles. I always have. I feel like people who play Total War, you have a preference. And it's usually quite divisive. Do you enjoy land battles or siege? Maybe Navy. I don't know. I tend to avoid siege battles if I can. Especially they turn a little bit grindy. You just lose so many casualties. Especially with the arrow towers. It's always crazy. Right, we can flank and surround and expose those hoplites there in a firm phalanx. Get around quickly now. And we can keep those villetes further back. But we've put those mercenaries to work. And Quintus is earning a decent reputation here in Greece. But I do recommend, if you're playing as the Scipii, to move into Greece, because the territory is so much more valuable. Even as the Julii, even though you have a tendency to go north against Gauls, do make the effort to, at least once you've got once you're stable, if you've got one spare army, send it to Carthage, send it to Greece. You'll be thankful later in your campaign, because the eastern provinces are just so much more valuable, and it's compounded by the fact of wonders as well. The enemy army is routing now, so we should be able to push and take Athens with impunity. We've managed to put the Macedonians and Greeks at each other's throat while the Romans can sweep in. So we only lost 100 there. That's a magnificent victory for us. Got some Romans there. An alliance with the powerful is never to be trusted. That's a really, really good quote. An alliance with the Brutii, the Romans there, is never to be trusted, because the Scipii might be going to war with the Macedonians. We'll see. I want to have the famed Rome-Macedonian wars. Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes the images get blurred. But please do take into consideration, I am still using an early access build of the game, and still things are subject to change and are getting patched and changed right up until release, which is a month away. Okay, we can block the port of Sparta now and get that mission done. And we'll send more of our navy over here. I don't want to get sunk at sea by the Greeks, as it were. But the faction leader is in Corinth. Antigonus of Sparta lies in Athens. Let's get some more Hastati. Okay, Capua is fine for now because we upgraded the walls. There's a little bit of public order unrest. We eventually want to get this proconsul's palace because we want to get Marian reforms. The quicker we can get those, the better, because we'll be able to dominate the ancient world. Once we get early in legionary cohort, we really want to focus on getting urban cohorts as well. We'll be able to get proper Roman cavalry. Okay, so we want to push down to Lepsus Magna. Appius Quintilius has an army here. We've got reinforcements coming with Flavius Scipio. Quintus? He's not there. Quintus is in Greece. I think we've had a little bit of a bug. Yeah, why does it say he's there? He's not there. Oh well. Should be right. Yeah, okay, that's strange. Anyway, we're rallying the forces here with Gaius Scipio, who is the son of Quintus, who's a 4-star command, so he's already a decent commander, so we'll probably leave him. We won't change that. We'll let him inherit his father's position. Okay, we need to send diplomats around the ancient world. So we're mobilizing to rid Carthaginian occupation of North Africa, while Quintus is in Greece. Okay, let's end the turn and continue. Let's see how the Greeks react. So they have attacked me navally. Clear defeat, which is unfortunate, and another one as well. At least it's drawing them away. That's why we need a big navy and more reinforcements there to help us out. But you can't play naval battles in Rome 1, of course, so we want to block the port. Yes! Oh, so we were successful, even though we got attacked. I guess our turn was probably first. Whoa, the following faction has declared their alliance. The following faction has become a client kingdom, abandoning their sovereignty. So, I think it's the Seleucids. There was a meme, isn't it, that they always tend to get destroyed or occupied. Still got an alliance with the Numidians, which is good. There's our finances and stuff. Yeah, I was trying to see if I could see who... You know what I mean? If I could see, without going into diplomacy, who did what. Yeah, I think the Seleucids have bent the knee to the Egyptians. I have a feeling. Yeah, there's no way to actually see it. Like other diplomatic standing. Or I couldn't just find it. Whatever. Okay, doesn't really matter overall. Right, we'll move our fleet back because we might actually need a couple more ships. There is a Greek army in the boot of Italy. And, my god, they're wasting so much time. What's going on? They can't seem to deal with the warband. The Brutii even not getting... The thing is, if they don't get Thermon, they probably don't like tend to push against the Macedonians. Look, we'll auto-resolve this one here, because it's a large city in Athens, and we've actually played the Siege of Athens in my Macedon campaign, episode 1, and we only lost 600. We would lose twice that trying to take Athens. But the home of democracy, the famed city of Athens, has been taken by the Scipii. Maybe we should talk about some Greek history. Because I did do a module about a lot of Greek plays. Some of the Greek plays are absolutely hilarious. My favourite one is the god Dionysus up on the stage. I don't know how best to describe it. Relieving himself, potentially. Right, let's rally up here. Okay. I've bamboozled myself with that. Right, let's get some more Principes there in Carthage. The Frogs is a good play as well. There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of... I do have a sneaky addiction to ancient plays. Right, let's put some farms there. I do recommend them because they're great. You just look at some ancient Greek plays. They're amazing. Right, take the settlement of Rhodes. I don't know if I want to do that. Not yet. That's so far away. I want to secure Greece first. Yeah, but my standing with the Senate's great. So when it gets to, I can't remember, is it 10 or 8? I think we can probably attack them now if we wanted to, but there's no way I'm going to betray the Julii and the Brutii at this point. If we get Marian, normally if you rush Marian reforms, you can actually take the Senate and the various Brutii and Julii and other Roman families earlier on, but I don't know. I kind of feel I want to see them grow. I want to see how well they do. It's going to take us ages anyway to get Marian reforms, so it's, yeah, they'll probably be massive by the time we even get it anyway. Okay, so we're trying to get more reinforcements from Thermon. And we want to try and push to Corinth. We want to try and occupy it this time around. We don't want to set it ablaze. Yeah, public order isn't the best. Now, I can reduce tax and potentially put on more games, but I kind of need the money. So it might even be just a bit of a little bit of a manageable inconvenience, the public order, let's say. My spy has failed to open the gates, so we're going to have to build some siege equipment and mount... what is that mountain called? The volcano? Not Mount Vesuvius, is it? I think... Isn't Mount Vesuvius further... Can't remember which one's which. Yeah, of course. Mount Vesuvius is the one in Pompeii. Mount Etna, I think it is the one in Sicily. City expands Carthage, rioting in Athens, and the most advanced faction is Egypt. Thrace, Dacia at war, Germans, Macedon, Egypt, and the Seleucids. And... okay. Looks like they broke that protectorate. Right. Quintus Athenianus, conqueror of Athens. I don't know. I need to figure out the cognomens of all the names. Maybe I should give them nicknames. I kind of wish you could give them nicknames. Quintus Bigus Dickus. Right. Diplomats. Right, negotiate with Thrace. Trade. Boom. The more trade we can get, the better. Map information. Alright. Right, we're coming to an hour here now, so unfortunately I have to wrap things up. Thank you very much for watching for episode 2. I've had an absolute blast here today. We talked about some Roman history. We'll try and, yeah, we'll bring up some more in episode 3. Coming out tomorrow, 3 PM British Standard Time. So stay tuned for episode 3. I'm going to play the outro now. Thanks, guys. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already with the bell notification on. Let me know in the comment section down below feedback and suggestions for the video. And feel free to leave a dislike. If you want to support the channel and follow me on my social media links, they are all linked in the description below. We've got the series playlist that you can access. You can also have a look at my gaming and recording equipment. If you want to get yourself some cheap games, check out the links. You can support me on Patreon if you want. Channel members are available. Use creator code SimpzyTotalWar on the Epic Games Store checkout to flick me a couple of bucks. We've got Twitter, Discord, merchandise, Facebook, Steam group, Instagram, Twitch, and Google Plus links all in the description below as well. But above all, guys, make sure to take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Much love from Australia. Goodbye.